Hey there, and welcome to Broadband Deployment News. The NTIA is awarding $27.5 million to 2 tribal nations as part of the Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program. We'll be right back and we'll look at the details. Hey there, Rick Usey with Quorum with Broadband Deployment News. Thanks for joining me. So there's this press release that I've linked to in the description that you can check out. Biden administration announces more than $25.7 million in high-speed internet grants to tribal lands in Minnesota and New Mexico. 2 grants totaling more than $25.7 million to the Mille band of Ojibwe, I believe it is, in Minnesota, and the Pueblo of Acoma in New Mexico as part of the Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program. With funds from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, that's the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. These new grants bring the total of the program to over $1.75 billion awarded to 135 tribal entities so far. So there's $3 billion in this program. And originally it was $1 billion, and then they added $2 billion when the Infrastructure Act was passed. That was added to the original program that was part of the consolidated program for, coronavirus kind of stuff. It'll mention that here in a minute. So U.S. Secretary of State Gina Raimondo, this investment in high-speed internet access for the Mille band of Ojibwe in Minnesota and the Pueblo of Acoma in New Mexico will help people in these communities apply for jobs, access healthcare, and further their education online. These grants from President Biden's Internet for All initiative will directly connect more than 1,500 unserved tribal households and community anchor institutions to affordable, reliable, high-speed internet service. So in Internet for All, they call this thing several different things. So there's the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. They call that the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law because there were some Republicans that voted for it. And they also call a lot of these things Internet for All, kind of lump those together. So you've got the IIJA, the original act that passed, and they call it the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Then there's the BEAD program, which includes the $42.45 billion. But this program, this is the Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program, that's also part of the IIJA, where this money is coming from. The Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program is a nearly $3 billion grant program and part of the Biden-Harris administration's Internet for All initiative. The funds are made available from President Biden's Partisan Infrastructure Law, $2 billion, and the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021, which was $989 million, or about $1 billion. So again, they added the $2 billion into what was the $1 billion, and they made some changes to the plans. Originally, when it was the Consolidated Appropriations Act, and it was about kind of a reaction to the coronavirus, there were some shorter time frames. So in that case, you had to commit the funds within 6 months, but they changed that to be 18 months because it was no longer about this coronavirus emergency. And then you had to build out your infrastructure in 1 year, but when it was all transferred over as part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or what they're calling the Internet for All Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, then that was extended to 4 years. So those were some changes that were made in addition to getting the additional money. And then it shows what each tribe got. So you've got the band of Ojibwe in Minnesota, $11.4 billion roughly to install fiber to directly connect 356 unserved Native American households, 7 unserved Native American businesses, and 10 unserved community anchor institutions, with service ranging from 250 symmetrical to a gig symmetrical. So they're getting fiber and they're going to get good service there. I'm not sure why in this next one, why it says this. So the Pueblo of Acoma, New Mexico, a little bit more, $14.3 billion. More households, 1,167. Unserved Native American households and anchor institutions with a minimum service of 25 by 3. So I'm not sure why they're saying that because it's fiber. It's not. At first, when I saw that speed, I thought, well, maybe they're talking about wireless, fixed wireless or something. But no, they're saying it's going to be fiber, direct fiber connection. So certainly if you're going to connect somebody with fiber, you would not be giving them 25 by 3. I mean, you could give them that kind of plan. So maybe that's what it is. A minimum of 25 by 3, meaning, okay, here's a really, really low cost plan, and 25 by 3 may be all that you need. And then you can get up to maybe these higher speeds. So on this other one here, it looks like maybe the minimum is going to be 250 symmetrical. So that may be what's going on there. There could be something with you've got your backbone connection, so you can connect everybody with fiber, but then you've got to have the backbone, kind of your superhighway going back to some location where you're going to direct all that traffic to get up to the internet. So maybe there's something there where it's a little bit harder. Certainly, there's a big difference in the cost per household. I did the math, and if you look at them all together, it's about 1,540, I think, locations. And if you divide the total amount, the 27.5 million, that came out to about $18,000, just under $18,000 per location. That's really high. When you look at, normally what you're finding in these situations where it's pretty rural, anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 to 6,000 to 8,000, that kind of thing. And certainly there's your isolated places where it's very expensive because you got, just some obstacles, really difficult ground to get through. You've got maybe really long driveways to bore through, around or up to, that kind of thing. And here you've probably got fewer. Maybe people are spread out, so maybe that's part of it, but it's still very expensive. So at 18,000, and that's the total. When you look at them separately, the Ojibwe, that came out to $30,583 per location. So these 356 plus 7 plus 10, it's going to cost over $30,000 for each location to get them all connected. So I hope somebody's looking at that carefully. It could be that there are serious geographical obstacles, maybe some other things that are causing the cost to be so high. And then even down here, we were looking at, when you look at this number, all of these, 1,167 locations, this number divided by that, you get $12,293. So even that's pretty expensive, but certainly that's a lot of money for not that many locations. So again, obviously, we want everybody to have access to broadband, certainly in areas that it's been difficult to get or maybe that are left behind. But we want to make sure that also we're making the most use or the best use of that money so that we can apply that and everybody everywhere can get good access to broadband so that we're not wasting it in one area and then suddenly we don't have enough in other areas. So again, I'm just hoping that they're looking carefully at these numbers when they're doing this. I'm sure they are. I mean, it's obvious. You do the math and it's fairly obvious. So hopefully that's being looked at carefully. So anyway, this is good. So that's a little over half now of that $3 billion that's been allocated as part of this program. So this is money from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law / Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act / Internet for All program, the $65 billion that was passed, with 42 plus of that being BEAD. But this is separate from BEAD. So this is money that is being put to use. So again, already a good amount of money has been awarded, and this is another $27.5 million that's being awarded. So this is going to get to work to get folks connected. So that's the good news there. So thanks for joining me. If this was helpful, if you give me a like on the video, I'd appreciate it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Click the notification bell to be notified. And if you are a tribal entity or somebody working with a tribal entity, one of these tribes or any others that are getting money for broadband or going to be getting money for broadband and you need help, reach out to us. You see our website there, email address, phone number. We can help in many, many different ways, from helping you get started with everything, feasibility studies, construction, to after you get your network set up, how do you then effectively manage it? How do you get your devices activated? How do you make sure that you're complying with various laws related to broadband? We do quite a few things. And if we don't do it, we certainly can find the right people for you that can. So check us out on our website there as well. Check out our website at zquorum.com. Thanks again, and I will see you next time for Broadband Deployment News. Take care. Bye-bye.